It's November when the power dies. Worst possible timing. You've got your stockpile. 3 months of food, backup batteries, a generator, winter gear. You think you're ready. You're not. By December, the lithium batteries are degraded. By January, you're stretching meals and watching your kids get thinner. By February, it's -15 outside, and your gear is failing. The propane ran out. The sleeping bags are useless. Your hands are numb inside your gloves. And you're learning the hardest lesson of your life. The survival industry sold you products engineered to die right when you need them most. Short shelf lives, cycle limits, planned failures. They built your dependency into the design. But here's the truth they buried. There are 35 winter survival supplies that actually work permanently. Technologies that last decades, not seasons. Items that make you truly independent of the system designed to keep you renting survival. Let's start with what they've been hiding. Every prepper I know has the same power problem. They don't know it yet, but they do. You've got lithium battery banks in the garage, a gas generator in the shed, solar panels wired to a charge controller. You think you're building energy independence? You're not. You're building a graveyard of electrochemical failures, and the clock started ticking the day you installed them. Here's what the energy industry doesn't print on the box. Every battery chemistry you've been told to stockpile has a built-in death sentence, and it's not accidental. It's profitable. Let's start with lithium. Lightweight, high energy density, fast charging. Sounds perfect, right? Wrong. Every time you charge a lithium cell, microscopic metallic crystals called dendrites grow inside. They form on the anode and push toward the cathode. Eventually, they pierce the separator membrane. Internal short circuit. The cell heats up fast. If you're lucky, it just dies. If you're unlucky, thermal runaway turns your battery bank into a fire you can't put out with water. But even if you avoid the fire, lithium cells degrade just sitting there. After 5 years of storage, even unused, you've lost 20 to 30% capacity. After 10 years, you're looking at a brick. That $8,000 battery bank has an expiration date built into the chemistry. Now let's talk about lead acid, the old reliable, the battery in your car. Proven technology, right? Proven to fail. Lead acid works through a reaction between lead plates and sulfuric acid. Every discharge creates lead sulfate crystals on the plates. When you recharge, most dissolve back. Most, not all. Over time, the crystals that don't dissolve build up. This is sulfation. It's permanent. It's cumulative. And it strangles your battery's capacity until it won't hold a charge. You get maybe 300 deep cycles if you're treating it gently. The sulfuric acid is corrosive. It off-gasses hydrogen. If it freezes, the case cracks. Game over. And your generator? Gasoline turns to varnish in 6 months without stabilizers. Diesel gels in cold weather. The fuel system clogs. When you need it most, it won't start. So what's the answer? Buy more batteries every few years? No. The answer is technology the energy industry has been burying for over a century because permanent solutions don't generate recurring revenue. The answer was patented in 1901 by Thomas Edison, the nickel-iron battery. And it's not just better. It's categorically different. This battery is chemically immortal. The electrolyte is potassium hydroxide. It doesn't participate in the reaction. It doesn't degrade. The actual reaction happens between nickel hydroxide and iron. When you discharge, nickel gets reduced. When you charge, it reverses. The electrolyte doesn't age. You can cycle this battery thousands of times. Edison's original cells from the early 1900s still work. Batteries that have been cycling for over a century. You can abuse these in ways that would murder lithium. Overcharge it? It vents hydrogen. No fire. Drain it to 0 for months, it wakes up at full capacity. Freeze it solid, the case doesn't crack. Leave it for 40 years. Drain the old electrolyte. Pour in fresh potassium hydroxide, and it returns to near 100% capacity. Why isn't this everywhere? Weight. Twice as heavy as lithium for the same energy. But if your battery sits in a shed, weight doesn't matter. Longevity does. The real reason, business model suicide. A century-lasting battery means you buy once. You're done. No longer a customer. Small manufacturers in China and Eastern Europe make them. Not at Home Depot, but they exist. Item 2. Lithium iron phosphate, LiFePO4. Different chemistry than standard lithium ion. No dendrite formation, no thermal runaway. 10 to 15 years and 3,000 to 5,000 cycles. Cost 30% more upfront, last 3 times longer. Battleborn and Dakota Lithium make them for off-grid systems. The industry doesn't push these because shorter-lived batteries generate more sales. Item 3. Kerosene and lamp oil. Indefinite shelf life. Heat, light, cooking. A gallon costs $5 and burns 100 hours. Store in metal containers, it lasts decades. The outdoor industry wants you buying propane canisters. Item 4. Manual power tools. Hand drills, manual egg beaters, push mowers, hand saws. No batteries, no fuel. Vintage tools from the 1940s still work. Lehman's Hardware sells modern versions. Buy once, use forever. Power tool companies built battery obsolescence into their business model. Item 5. Thermoelectric generators. TEGs convert heat differential to electricity. One side hot, other cool, you get DC power. No moving parts, no degradation. BioLite camp stove and TegPro units produce 5 to 20 watts continuously. They work permanently. These 5 solve your power problem for life. Buried because permanent solutions don't generate quarterly earnings. But power means nothing if you starve in week 4. Let's talk about the Nutritional scam. It's February. You've been rationing for 90 days. You open your emergency food bucket, the one with the 25-year guarantee. The freeze-dried eggs smell rancid. The pasta is clumped yellow dust. And you just did the calorie math. You're in trouble. The survival food industry sold you starvation in a Mylar bag. Here's the scam. Those buckets advertise 1,200 to 1,500 calories per day. They call it a survival ration. In summer, sitting still, maybe. In winter, chopping wood, hauling water, shoveling snow. You're burning 3,000 to 3,500 calories per day. Your kids are burning 2,500. Caloric deficit from day 1. By week 8, they're getting thinner. By week 12, manual labor becomes dangerous. You're cold, weak, making mistakes. Those meals are mostly carbohydrates, minimal fats, minimal protein. Your body needs fat for warmth in winter. It needs protein for tissue repair. Without them, you're eating bulk that doesn't sustain. Now the basics everyone stockpiles. Rice, beans, wheat. Good staples if you store them correctly. Most people don't. They buy 50-pound bags, stack them in the basement. Moisture gets in. Weevils and moths infest. Oils and whole grains go rancid after a year without oxygen absorbers. That $200 grain order becomes livestock feed. And water. Your Sawyer Mini is rated for 100,000 gallons. Sounds like a lot. A family of 4 uses 1 gallon per person per day for drinking. That's 1,460 gallons per year. Add cooking and hygiene, you're at 3,000 gallons. Filter lasts 33 years, right? Wrong. The rating assumes clean source water. Turbid river water, snowmelt with debris. You're cleaning that filter every 500 gallons. Ceramic elements crack. Membranes clog. Filter failure means cholera, giardia, cryptosporidium. Waterborne illness kills in a week. The food industry built rotation anxiety into their model. 5-year shelf life means constant repurchasing. Here are the food and water supplies they've buried because you'd never need to buy twice. The military figured this out decades ago. Item 6, pemmican, rendered fat mixed with dried meat. Shelf life 50+ years, 3,500 calories per pound. Complete nutrition. Tanka and US Pemmican sell it. Make it yourself with tallow and jerky. One 20-pound batch feeds an adult 2 weeks. Item 7. Pilot bread. Modern hardtack. Lasts indefinitely when dry. 400 calories per 100 grams. Sailor Boy makes them. Bland, hard, works. Store in buckets with oxygen absorbers. Item 8. Canned butter and ghee. Red Feather canned butter. 10+ year shelf life. Essential fats for warmth. A case of 12 cans, $80, provides critical calories. Freeze-dried meals lack. Item 9. Freeze-dried raw meat, not meals. Mountain House and Thrive Life sell chicken, beef, ground meat. 20+ year shelf life. Pure protein, no fillers. 1 can, multiple meals. Item 10. Honey. Never spoils. 3,000-year-old honey found in Egyptian tombs still edible. Energy, antiseptic, wound treatment. Buy raw in bulk. 5-gallon buckets from apiaries. It crystallizes but stays good. Item 11. Salt. Iodized for nutrition, canning salt for preservation. Infinite shelf life. 5 pounds per person per year minimum. Buy 50-pound bags, $15. Item 12. White rice in mylar with oxygen absorbers. 30+ year shelf life. Repack 25-pound bags in mylar, seal, store in buckets. Family of 4 needs 400 pounds yearly. Costs $200, lasts 3 decades. Item 13. Berkey gravity filters. Big Berkey filters 6,000 gallons. Black ceramic elements are cleanable. No power. Filters bacteria, protozoa, heavy metals. $350, years of use. Item 14. Calcium hypochlorite, pool shock. 1 pound treats 10,000 gallons. Indefinite shelf life. Mix to 6% solution, dose 8 drops per gallon. DryTech, $100 for 50 pounds. Item 15. Life Straw Mission or Sawyer gravity filters. Hang style, 5-gallon capacity. Mission filters 18,000 liters. Sawyer filters 100,000 gallons. $60 to $100. These 10 solve nutrition and hydration permanently. No rotation. No expiration. The food industry buried them because permanent solutions kill recurring revenue. But calories and water mean nothing if you freeze. February, no heat. Hypothermia kills in 6 hours. Let's talk about warmth and medical supplies they've been hiding. It's 2 a.m. The house is 35 degrees. Your kids are shivering in their sleeping bags. The propane heater ran out of fuel 3 days ago. You're down sleeping bags, the ones rated to 15 degrees. They're soaked with condensation from body heat, and they've lost half their loft. You're wearing cotton long underwear under your jeans. It's wet from sweat. And you're learning something the outdoor industry doesn't advertise. Cold kills faster than hunger. Hypothermia kills in 3 to 6 hours. Starvation takes weeks. But the gear you bought was designed for weekend camping trips, not extended winter survival. Let's start with down insulation. Warm when dry. Useless when wet. Down clumps when it absorbs moisture. The loft collapses. You lose insulation value. And in a house with no heat, everything gets damp. Condensation from breathing, from bodies, from cooking. Your sleeping bag becomes a cold, soggy sack. People die in sleeping bags. It's called cold-related death, and it happens to preppers who thought their gear would save them. Synthetic sleeping bags compress over time. They lose R value. After 5 years of use and compression, that 20-degree bag is now a 40-degree bag. In February at -10, you're freezing. Propane heaters. You've got 3 tanks left. Each tank lasts maybe 8 hours of continuous burn. That's 24 hours of heat. Then what? And those heaters produce carbon monoxide. You need ventilation, or you're building a silent killer. Propane storage is bulky. Tanks are heavy. Resupply is impossible when the grid is down. Cotton clothing kills. It absorbs moisture, loses insulation when wet, and pulls heat from your body. Cotton kills is a survival saying, yet most people's wardrobes are 70% cotton. And your first aid kit. Band-Aids. Aspirin. Antibiotic ointment. Nothing for frostbite. Nothing for severe bleeding. Nothing for wound closure when hospitals don't exist. Winter trauma without medical infrastructure means infections, amputations, death from treatable injuries. The outdoor industry sold you summer camping gear and called it survival equipment. Here are the thermal and medical supplies NASA uses, military's stockpile, and retailers will never advertise to you. The material that keeps Mars rovers alive at -100 Celsius has been available since 2015. Item 16. Aerogel insulation blankets. Pyrogel and Cryogel are the brands. This is the same material NASA uses for space applications. It's 99.8% air trapped in a silicon dioxide lattice. R value of 10 per inch. A 5 mm layer insulates as well as 5 centimeters of foam. You can wrap it around pipes, line your shelter walls, insulate sleeping bags. It doesn't degrade over time. It doesn't compress and lose performance. It doesn't absorb water. A 10-foot roll costs $200 and makes your space thermally untouchable. Item 17. Wool blankets, military surplus. 80% wool, sometimes blended with synthetic. They retain warmth when wet. They're naturally fire-resistant. A wool blanket from the 1950s still works today. Swiss Army surplus, Norwegian military, USGI wool blankets. $30 to $60 each. Buy 6. They outlast you. Item 18. Vapor barrier liners, VBLS. These are waterproof bags you sleep inside to prevent moisture from your body reaching your insulation. Military sleep systems use them. Western Mountaineering and Wiggies make them. $50. They keep your sleeping bag dry and functional in extended cold. Item 19. Reflective emergency bivvies, reusable ones, not the disposable Mylar sheets. Sewell Escape Bivvy, Adventure Medical Heat Sheets. They reflect 90% of body heat. Durable, pack small. $40 to $60. You can use them hundreds of times. Item 20. Alcohol stoves. Trangia is the classic design. Denatured alcohol burns clean. Indefinite shelf life for the fuel. Silent operation. No moving parts to break. The stove itself is permanent. Stove costs $20. Alcohol is $6 per liter at hardware stores. Item 21. Firebox, nano stove, or similar solid fuel designs. Stainless steel construction, folds flat, burns wood, twigs, cardboard, anything combustible. No fuel storage needed. Lifetime warranty, $50. Buy once, burn forever. Item 22. Beeswax candles. Long burn time, 7 to 9 hours per pound of wax. Heat output warms small spaces. Indefinite shelf life. Multi-use for light, heat, and fire starting. Buy in bulk from beekeeping suppliers. 10 pounds for $80. Item 23. Suture kits. Needle holders, forceps, suture thread, curved needles. Practice on pigskin or synthetic training pads before you need it. Chinook Medical and North American Rescue sell complete trauma kits. $60 to $150. Videos online teach basic wound closure techniques. When hospitals don't exist, this closes wounds that would otherwise kill through infection. Item 24. Israeli bandages, pressure dressings for hemorrhage control, sterile, vacuum-sealed, 5-year shelf life. First Care Products makes them. $8 each. Buy 20. Severe bleeding kills in minutes. These buy you time. Item 25. Celox or Quick Clot. Hemostatic clotting agents, granules or gauze treated with kaolin. You pack them into deep wounds. They stop bleeding fast. Celox works even if the person is on blood thinners. $30 for a pack. Shelf life 3 to 5 years. Stock 10 packs minimum. Item 26. Frostbite treatment supplies. Ibuprofen for pain and inflammation. Aloe vera gel for blistering. Sterile gauze for wrapping. The protocol is gradual rewarming in 98 to 102 degree water. No rubbing. Knowledge is the supply here. Study frostbite stages and treatment protocols before winter hits. Item 27. Fish antibiotics. The legal loophole. Thomas Labs Fish Mox is amoxicillin. Same compound, same dosage as human prescriptions. Legally sold for aquarium use. You can buy it without a prescription. Dosing is the same. 500 milligram capsules. Standard adult dose. $30 for 100 capsules. Shelf life 2 to 3 years. Infection without antibiotics kills slowly and painfully. This is your backup when pharmacies are gone. These 12 items solve warmth, shelter, and trauma medicine. Permanent gear that doesn't fail. Aerogel defeats thermodynamics. Wool works when wet. Trauma supplies stop bleeding and close wounds. The outdoor and medical industries buried them because lifetime products kill seasonal revenue streams. You've got power, food, water, warmth, and medicine covered with 27 items. But let's talk about the final 8 supplies that complete the picture and why this entire pattern exists. Notice something about these 27 supplies? Everyone lasts 10 to 50 plus years. None require rotation, and all have been quietly buried by industries that need you buying replacements. Here are the final 8. Item 28. Mesh-tastic devices. Decentralized encrypted communication on LoRa protocol. Every device is both client and repeater. No central tower, no subscription. Heltec, TTGO, LilyGo hardware, $30 to $70. Range 5 to 10 miles, 30 from hilltops. Can't be shut down. Item 29. Shortwave or ham radio. Global communication independent of infrastructure. Yaesu, ICOM, Baofeng. $50 to $500. Item 30. Printed reference books. Where There Is No Doctor. SAS Survival Handbook. Military Field Manuals. No batteries. $15 to $40 per book. Item 31. Hand tools. Axes, handsaws, manual drills, Gransfors Brux axes, vintage Stanley tools. Buy once, use forever. Item 32. Cast iron cookware. Lodge, Griswold. Century lifespan. A $30 skillet outlasts you. Item 33. Manual grain mill, Country Living grain mill. All metal, hand crank. $400. Lifetime warranty. Item 34. Sewing supplies. Heavy-duty thread, canvas needles, waxed thread. Repair gear indefinitely. $50 lasts decades. Item 35. Heavy-duty mylar blankets. All weather from Grabber or SOL. Ground insulation, vapor barriers, signaling. $10. Reusable for years. That's $35. And here's the pattern. The modern economy isn't built on solving problems. It's built on managing them with solutions that require renewal. Every product is engineered with an expiration date because a customer who solves their problem permanently is a customer you lose forever. Look across the domains. Energy, lithium batteries die in 5 years. Food, freeze-dried buckets need rotation. Warmth, down jackets lose loft. Medical, prescription refills. Communication, monthly cell plans. Every industry profits from planned failure. The nickel-iron battery was commercially available for decades. Edison marketed it in the 1910s. It worked flawlessly. Then lithium came along. Lighter, dies faster, better for business. The Edison battery was quietly discontinued. Same pattern across every category. Permanent solutions exist. They get buried. Subscription models replace them. This is why these 35 items matter. They break the cycle. You buy once, you're done. No longer generating revenue. You've exited the system. And that makes you dangerous to an economy built on dependency. You now know what they didn't want you to know. Here's the complete list by category. Power and energy. Nickel-iron batteries, LiFePO4. Kerosene, manual power tools, thermoelectric generators. Items 1 through 5. Decades of reliable energy with no planned obsolescence. Food and water. Pemmican, pilot bread, canned butter, freeze-dried raw meat, honey, salt, white rice, Berkey filters, calcium hypochlorite, gravity filters. Items 6 through 15. Nutrition and hydration that last 10 to 50 years without rotation. Warmth and medicine. Aerogel insulation, wool blankets, vapor barrier liners, reflective bivvies, alcohol stoves, solid fuel stoves, beeswax candles, suture kits, Israeli bandages, Celox, frostbite treatment supplies, fish antibiotics. Items 16 through 27. permanent thermal protection and trauma medicine that doesn't depend on hospitals or pharmacies. Communication and tools, mesh-tastic devices, ham radio, printed references, hand tools, cast iron, grain mills, sewing supplies, heavy-duty mylar, items 28 through 35, self-sufficiency and coordination that can't be shut down remotely. None of this is illegal. None of it is restricted. You can buy all of it right now. The system isn't hiding these behind walls. It's hiding them behind silence, behind the noise of 1,000 inferior products screaming for your attention. These aren't just supplies. They're exits from the dependency cycle. A person with power that lasts a century, food that doesn't expire, warmth that defeats physics, and communication that can't be killed is a person the system can't control. Share this list. Build community stockpiles. Spread the knowledge. The more people who exit the cycle, the harder we are to manipulate. Winter doesn't negotiate. Physics doesn't care about quarterly earnings, and neither should you.